So today I did a bit of shopping. Things get expensive the more you do videography. I'll show you what I got. The Fujifilm 55-200 lens. It's an interesting purchase because this is actually a fairly old lens. I think it came out in 2012. I'll put the right year on the screen. But it is the same sort of style lens as my kit lens, and I love my kit lens. I think it is, for the money, it's expensive, but it is incredible quality. So you get what you pay for. It's optical stabilized. It's got a better aperture range than your Canons and that kind of thing in this kind of price point. And at the end of the day, whatever you buy from Fujifilm in terms of lenses, you're going to get good image quality. So anyway, let's open it up. Manual. You always get the little microfiber cloth out of it. Manual. Another manual. The lens hood is humongous, but I mean, if you're in a highlights situation on an event, at an event, which is one of the reasons why I got this, that's going to come in handy. Keep it in my cupboard because I'm not going to use it every day. There is the lens. Hopefully it focuses. So it's the two buttons are optical stabilization and aperture, auto, and manual. Like all Fujifilm lenses, it's got a aperture ring. This is an infinity aperture ring. So on my 35mm, it stops. So once you reach the lowest aperture, it'll stop, and once you've reached the highest aperture, it'll stop. Whereas in this one, it just keeps going like my kit lens. It's got more of a click to it than my kit lens, which I like. Also, the other thing is, it kind of, don't know if you can hear that, but that is unnerving. Like Fujifilm lenses, the stabilization is very good, but those internals shake, which I really don't like. Anyway, but I doubt it has any material effect on the overall durability of the lens. Anyway, overall, like my kit lens, there's some plastic here, which is good because, and I'll mention why it's good just now. A massive rubberized zoom grip. Your focus ring is also nice and big, and this is metal. So there's quite a few metal parts. Obviously the mounting is metal. It's not a weather sealed lens, but it is sealed in here, so dust can only get to the back lens. It can't get inside the lens. The only exposed part is the fact that it zooms out like that. It's not an internal zoom, so dust and stuff can get in there. So that's a downside. Your usual awesomeness. It's a big lens, but in comparison to Fujifilm's other lenses, it's actually really small. I'm going to try it on my tripod because it is big and it is heavy. So I want to see, but actually, because the zoom barrel is plastic, it doesn't get much more weight when you zoom it out. So that's quite nice. So you can have a cheaper tripod, have this on, as opposed to their 100-400 or their 50-140. Those are big, heavy lenses, and you're going to have a bulky tripod to manage those lenses. So why did I go for a zoom? I don't really recommend zoom lenses for beginners because, the beginner cameras, they bundle it with the kit lens, the whatever, mine's an 80-55 and then a 55-200 or whatever. Canon do that a lot, but that's because people want to zoom. But I think in terms of learning photography, getting a 35mm prime is probably the best way to start. That's my photography lens that I use all the time. But the more you get into photography, and the more, I'm a very versatile photographer and videographer, and the reason for that is I need to diversify to get more work. And so I never know what I'm going to be shooting from one week to the next. This week it could be all product photos. Next week I could be at an event. I don't know what I'm doing from one week to the next, and more I was finding myself needing to zoom in to capture people, especially people at events and doing stuff. I needed to zoom in. You can use zooms for landscapes and that, but that's not the reason I bought it. It's mostly for those situations where I need to zoom in, like also speeches. If someone's speaking at an event, I'm going to be covering an event soon, and I need to zoom into anybody doing speeches. So this really comes in handy for those situations, and I've got pretty much the whole focal length coverage that I'm going to need, except for maybe the 10 to 24 millimeter, and then from there, if I really feel I need a prime for a specific situation, I will get it. But that's pretty much all I need for a very, very long time. So that's a very long story why I went zoom. The reason why I went for this lens, firstly, is just price. The 50-140 and the Fujifilm 100 to 400 are over 20,000 Rand. Both of them are over 20,000 Rand. This one came in at 8,700 Rand. It's still a crap load of money, but compared to those lenses, it's cheap. So for me, it was mostly about price. I needed zoom, but I needed to come in at an affordable price. So in comes this. This is older technology, but it is still phenomenal, and I still think in many ways it's class leading. Hit me up in the comments if you disagree. What else? So the thing that sold me on this, I think finally I was like, you know what, I'm not going to sit and save for the 50-140 or what have you, because this is going to suit my life the best, because I only have the small, and you can check out my review on it, the small Protactic bag. I have the small one, and I don't have a lot of real estate in that bag. The 50-140 or the 100 to 400, I'm not going to be able to fit that in my bag. And my bag was expensive. I'm not buying another one for a long time. So I needed a zoom, but I needed a compact zoom. And in comes this. It'll fit in my bag, and it's lighter. So it's the lightest of the three zooms. Fujifilm do also do a 55 to I think 135. So that's also another one to consider. But for me, this really did the trick. And then at the end of the day, like I said in the beginning, Fujifilm, besides maybe the XC lenses and even those lenses, the budget Fujifilm lenses, those three lenses are pretty phenomenal for what they are. But the normal range of Fuji lenses, you're going to get incredible image quality. It just is. So I'm going to be doing some reviews in the coming weeks. I'm not going to use it right now because I forgot to get a protective lens. This is a 62 millimeter diameter, so I'll see if I've got something in the office here, but I don't think so. So I'm going to get a lens first, and then I'm going to test it out. I have the one big downside that I found in the shop was that the autofocus, especially when you zoomed out at 200, is very slow. I had to set my camera to the maximum of 5 autofocus speed to get it to an acceptable level. So that is one downside. One reviewer said, you know, he only uses this in manual focus. I think that's a bit extreme. But yeah, that is the one downside that I've found. But I'll be doing a proper review in the coming weeks, give you my impressions. But I first want to use it and really get settled with it. But that was just my reasons for going for this lens. Let me know what you think in the comments. I know all my friends gave me opinions. All of them said, you know, go for this, go for that. Don't go for this, it's old, it's not, it's a crappy lens. But in my testing, I found it to be acceptable, and I'm excited to use it. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.